You notice it in the smallest things. A friend laughs a little louder at someone else's joke. A colleague gets praised for an idea you thought was average. Someone new enters the group, and suddenly the room feels different. And something inside you shifts, quietly, almost invisibly. Not anger, just a familiar unease that you've learned to carry. You don't say anything. You smile, you adjust, you tell yourself it means nothing. But the thought is already there. What if they don't need me the way I thought they did? This feeling has a name, and more importantly, it has a reason. People who experience this aren't insecure in the way that word usually sounds. They're not fragile. They're not needy. They've simply developed a heightened sensitivity to social belonging, a deep, underlying awareness of where they stand in relation to others. And when that position feels uncertain, the nervous system responds, not with logic, with alarm. Here's what most people don't realize about this pattern. It doesn't usually begin in adulthood. For many, it started in environments where connection felt conditional, where being liked meant being useful, entertaining, or needed, where someone else's arrival sometimes meant your own importance quietly decreased. The brain, still young, still building its map of the world, drew a conclusion. Your value to others is not fixed. It can be replaced. And that conclusion, once encoded, doesn't stay in the past. It travels forward into every relationship you build. The technical term psychologists use is social comparison sensitivity, a heightened vigilance to shifts in how others perceive your relative value. Research shows that people with this pattern have an amygdala response to social cues that fires faster and stronger than average. They notice micro shifts in tone, attention, and inclusion before others even register them. This is not a flaw in perception. It's a flaw in interpretation. Because here's what the nervous system gets wrong. Not every shift in a social dynamic is a signal of replacement. Sometimes a friend laughs louder because they're having a good day. Sometimes a colleague gets praised because the timing was right. Sometimes someone new enters a space and adds to it without subtracting from you. But the pattern doesn't know that. It only knows the old lesson. And that's the part worth sitting with. The people around you who brighten up around someone new aren't diminishing you. They're simply living. And you, the person who feels every shift, who tracks connection with such precision, you're not replaceable. You're rare, because very few people love with that kind of attention, that level of care, that depth of presence. These don't disappear when someone else enters the room. They're part of who you are, and the right people. They notice. You were never competing. You were always enough.